Hello, my name is Keshwani. There's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 26, day number 26. Let's see what we have for today. For those of you who are new, who have not watched this video before and do not know the schedule, the plan, I'm here to teach you the entire course in algebra on the YouTube. I'm not doing just one or two clips on this subject or that subject, or teaching you how to solve a simple linear equation here and some other problem there. It's an entire course from beginning to the end. We started from the very basic, evaluating algebraic expressions. That's what we did in the first 20 days. Right now what we're doing is learning how to add and subtract like terms. Once we have learned how to add and subtract algebraic expressions, then we'll move on to learning how to multiply and divide algebraic expressions. And after that, we'll go into solving linear equations. And then of course more complicated stuff will come afterwards. Let's take a look at the problem here. Day number 26 is the day today. 9x squared, negative 9x squared, plus 3x squared, plus 4x squared, minus 3x squared. And our job is to simply tell, is simply to combine the like terms. Okay, just give me 1 second, I'll be right back. I'm still here. I have to get out of the frame for a second. Alright, so we have to combine like terms. What we have to first understand is, what does it mean in algebraic language, in the language of the algebra, when we are told to combine like terms? For example, this x here, this variable, it's an unknown, it has some value. Even though we do not know the value of it, it has some value. For example, if x happens to be 2, then this is what we have. Now when somebody says to you, combine the like terms, what does it mean in English language in the context of this problem? In the context of this problem, what does it mean? Forget about the top one here. Look at this one here. Negative 9 times 2 squared plus 3 times 2 squared plus 4 times 2 squared minus 3 times 2 squared. If that was put in front of you and you were asked to combine like terms, what does it mean? What does it mean, like terms? It's just an algebraic way of saying how many 2 squares do we have. That's what we are here for. We are here to learn the language of algebra. Algebra is a language, and if you understand the language, the rest is downhill. We cannot get to the word problem, which is our reward, which is what most people are worried about in the exam. They do not know how to handle word problem because they have not learned how to master, how to translate rather, English language into algebraic language. A problem is stated in English language, and your job, before you can actually solve it, is to state it in the algebraic language before you can solve it, before you can find the unknown, whatever it is being asked. How old is Mike? Mumbo jumbo, mumbo jumbo, mumbo jumbo, how old is Mike? Well, you have to first translate all of those things that are told in English language into algebraic equations before you can tell how old Michael is. And you have to learn the translations. What does it mean here? Combine the like term. It simply means, the translation of this is, how many 2 squares do we have? That's all it is. How many 2 squares do we have there? How many do you see? Well, let's find out. I need to put the cap on this thing before it gets too dry. Well, I see negative 9 here. There are negative 9 2 squares. Negative 9. I see a positive 3 2 squares there. So far there are negative 6. I see a positive 4 here. Negative 6 and a positive 4 will give us negative 2. And then finally we see a negative 3. It looks like it's negative 5 2 squares. Looks like to me that there are negative 5 2 squares. squared. Now what that means is that if we were to take our time, and solve this bloody thing, you'll find out that this would equal negative 100. Now where did I get negative 100? Well, 2 squared is 4 and negative 5 is outside. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 100. If we were to solve this thing, it will come out to be negative 100. But in the context of the algebra, since we do not know the value of the x, we cannot actually solve it. We cannot give it a numerical value here because there is no numerical value for the x. It's just x. So here we cannot say it's negative 100. All we can say here is that we have negative 5 x squared. That's it. Whatever the hell x squared, x happens to be. Whatever the x happens to be, we have negative 5 x squares. That's how many x squares we have, negative 5. Do you understand? Combine the like terms. In the English language, simply means how many x squares do we have? That's what it is. How many x squares do we have? Well, how many do we have? Right here. It's negative 5. Now, just out of curiosity, I want to do it out and see if it actually does come out to be negative 100. Let's take a look at it. Just out of curiosity, I want to do it out and see if it actually does come out to be negative 100. Well, negative 9 times 2 squared is 4. 3 times 4 plus 4 times 4 minus 3 times 4. Let's see. Negative 9 times 4 is negative 36 plus 12 plus 16 minus 12. What the hell? Oh, this was just a waste of time. Oh, I just realized we got a positive 3x squared and a negative 3x squared. We could have just cancelled it out. It serves no purpose. It serves no purpose. I just noticed it. I noticed it when I saw a 12 here and 12 there. This 12 cancels out with this 12. We could have done that here. So basically what we have is negative 36 and positive 16. But that does not give us the negative 100 we're looking for. Negative 9 times x squared. Did I make a mistake? It is negative 5, I have in my notes. Negative 9 times 4 will be negative 36. This drops out. This is 4 times x squared, which is 4 times 4 is 16. It's okay. We learn from. So you will learn from watching this thing as to how mistakes can happen. Something has gone wrong, and we have to catch our mistakes. I could very easily, if the fact that you are still watching it, which means that I decided to post this video. I could very easily have not posted the video and have retaken the whole thing, but I'm not going to do that. You're watching it so that you learn how mistakes are made and how one catches one's mistakes. Negative x squared plus 3x squared plus 4x squared minus 3x squared, and I get negative 5 squared. Was that true? Negative 9, I'm going to redo it. Negative 9, positive 3, positive 4, and a negative 3. This positive 3 and this thing is cancels out. It's basically what we have is a negative 9 and a 4, which is, this cancels out with this one. We basically have negative 9 and positive 4, which is negative 5, which is what we have here. Negative 5 and 2 squares, which is 4. Negative 4 times, 4 times 5 is not 100. This is not a 20, this is a 4. Oh, plus it. You see? Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Now let's see if this one comes out to be negative 20. Oh, there you go. Negative 36 and positive 16. Negative 36 and a positive 16. Voila. It gives you the negative 20 that we're looking for. Negative 36 and a positive 16 is going to give us negative 20. But you see, we could not have done all of this thing if we had not known the value of x. Now in the algebra, of course, we do not know the value of x. All that we're given is, so that's it, I'm going to erase everything. That was a mistake. That was not a negative 100, that was a negative 20, which is why I was getting a different answer here. It's a good thing I did that. It's a good thing I didn't just leave it like that, because that would have been terrible. I would not have caught it, and I would have posted this thing, and anyway. So it's 4 times negative 5, which is negative 20, which is what we get here. Now the difference is that in the algebraic problem, we do not know the value of the x. All we have is this part. I'm going to erase everything, and all we have is this part. We are told what's the value of this expression. Well, positive 3x and a negative 3x, that drop out, and basically is negative 9x squared plus 4x squared, which gives us altogether a negative 5x squared. That's your answer. And that's our answer. Let's move on to the next problem, shall we? Let's move on to the next problem. What if we were given something like this? Negative x squared plus 3 times y squared plus 4 times y squared minus 3 times x squared. How will we combine like terms here? Well, like terms here are negative 9x and a negative 3x. And similarly, these two are like terms. Positive 3x and a positive 4x. Why? Why are these two like terms? This term is unlike that term. What does it mean? Well, again, in the context of the numbers, if it makes it easier for you to see, I'm going to assign the value of x and y. Let's pretend that x is 2 and let's pretend that y is 7. So see what happens here. Negative 2 squared plus 3 times y squared, which is 7, plus 4 times y squared, which is 7, minus 3 times x squared, which is 2. Now here, when someone says combine the like terms, combine the like terms, what does it mean? In English language, it means how many 2 squares and how many 7 squares do we have? This is the translation. This is the translation in English language. Combine the like terms in this context means how many 2 squares do we have and how many 7 squares do we have. Let's find out. We have 9 2 squares. We have 9 2 squares right here. And we have negative 3 2 squares here. A negative 9 and a negative 3 will give us negative 12. So the answer is negative 12. I need a room here. Negative 12 x squared, that's we have. Well, because our 2 is x. And similarly, now the question is, how many 7 squares do we have? How many 7 squares do we have? Well, let's find out. We have 3 7 squares here. And we have 4 7 squares there. A positive 3 and a positive 4 will give us positive 7 squares. Voila. Positive 7 y squares rather. Positive 7 y squares. And again, we could have solved this thing in the context of the numbers, and you will see that that's exactly what the answer is. So combine the like term, it simply means how many 2 squares do we have and how many 7 squares as you can have. As you can see, we cannot combine 7 squares and 2 squares. For example, let's erase the top part. We do not need the top part here. For example, let me give you continue here. If I give you something like this, negative 9 2 squares and positive 3 7 squares, and if I tell you combine the like terms, what I'm saying here is tell me how many 2 squares do we have and how many 7 squares do you have. Well, there is nothing there to do. The bloody thing is right there. There are 9 2 squares and a 3 and a positive 3 7 squares. That's it. There is nothing you can do. So here, if somebody were to give you like this, negative 9a squared plus 3b squared, and this parenthesis serves no purpose. So negative 9a squared plus b squared, there is nothing to combine because there are no like terms, there are no similar terms. This is dissimilar. This is dissimilar. The a squared is unlike b squared. A has a different value than does b. Because if they did have the same value, they would both have been called a or b. Do you understand? So that's your answer. Negative 12x squared plus 7y squared for this thing here. For this part right here. Negative 12x squared and 7y squared is the answer to this one. That's it. I'm going to call it a day today. We'll come back and do some more tomorrow. That's the idea. I could continue go on for half an hour, but that'll be bloody awful. So let's just do a little bit at a time. I'll see you tomorrow on day number 27. If you wish to get hold of me, you can send me an email from any of these website addresses that you see. You will also find my toll-free number there on the website, or you can simply go to kashwaniprep.com and send me an email from there or call me from the number that you see there. Okay? Thank you.